Hi, everybody. I'm Gwendolyn Sterk of Sterk Family Law, and I'm honored and privileged today to be with Wendy Cunningham Barnes, and she's with the You Belong Foundation. So welcome. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. This is
Well, I'm
exciting.
excited to learn about your organization as well. Tell me a little bit about the history of the You Belong Foundation.
The You Belong Foundation came out of my desire from being a mom of two special needs children. I have three children. My daughter's in heaven. She passed away 10 and a half years ago. She was disabled before she passed. And then my youngest son, who is now 20, he is also disabled. And for 12 years, I was a single parent, just trying to figure out the day-to-day, tired, frustrated, all of the emotions of the roller coaster ride of raising or caring for someone with a disability. And after my daughter passed, I wanted to do something to make the community more inclusive. Many times I had people saying, you need to do a support group. And I'm like, I'm trying to get through the day. I don't, I don't have time to look for a group. So I figured I'd start a group that was both a lot of things that we are doing and planning to do are virtual, but a lot of things are just bringing us together. It doesn't matter what the disability is. So Paige had pneumococcal meningitis as a baby, which devastated her brain and left her disabled. Christian was born with what's called Dandy Walker syndrome, terms I've never heard of, right?
Right,
And
right.
so I would hear things like autism, which has a beautiful machine behind it, but I didn't feel like I could attach myself to them because my children didn't have autism,
Right.
and there are a few other things that have these beautiful groups behind it. So I just kind of stayed to myself, descending more into depression and frustration and feeling like I was by myself in this journey. But after my daughter passed, I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute, I probably can talk to anyone who cares for someone with a disability, and our stories are going to be the same, right? We've been mad, happy,
Mhm.
excited about the smallest of things that most people take for granted. And I said, I wanted to create something where when people saw our logo, when they heard about something that we did, it doesn't matter what the disability is. You come, you're welcome. You have a community. We can share resources. So my daughter would have been 26 this year. So for over 25 years, I have raised special needs kids and I have a lot of information. But someone who's raised someone with autism has another set of skills and experience that we meshing together, trying to grow the community in that way and just let people know you're not by yourself. And that's our tagline. You are not alone. And so we're still infants. We're 2 years old, still figuring out some systems that we want to do, but super excited to be able to include all disabilities and what we do.
And I think that's fantastic because I think that one of the things that I know as an attorney practicing now for 35 years is that people don't know sometimes even where to start, right?
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
don't know what's available. They've never heard of something. Somebody drops a word, let alone not know what it is.
Yeah.
They don't know where to start. So that paralyzation is something I think that really affects people who have a family member who has, a disability of that nature. And you have to be able to communicate that to give that referral and that network of support,
Yeah.
right?
And oftentimes we're the only ones in our family.
Right.
This is the first time ever of having this experience. And they tell you what a diagnosis is. They tell you, follow it with these specialties, but they don't kind of tell you what to do afterwards.
Right. How are you going to implement it? Right. The reality is
Exactly.
still there. So sometimes things can change and evolve, and sometimes that disability is permanent, and you have
Yes.
to adjust your entire structure of life to be able to adjust to that.
Yeah.
So,
And you said it right. Your whole life changes.
your whole life, right?
Yeah.
Every minute, everything that you possibly could have.
Yes.
So, what resources are available for that? What kind of support network is there available? What funds are available? What are the
Mhm.
legal requirements? What are the social requirements? Because
Man, you're hitting
currently,
all of the bullet points.
yeah, the caregivers certainly go through a lot of that. That what
Yeah.
is the network that's available to give, respite care for a caregiver because they need a break sometimes because it's
Yes.
constant and it can be chronic. So I really appreciate that opportunity. And I have always had a passion to know that the disability and community as a whole needs to have almost a volume. I wish there was a book or a guide out there of everything that's available in our local community because there is a lot available, but you
There's a
just
lot,
don't know where to start.
but
So
it's
this
not
is
all in one space. And that's what
right,
we need.
right.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to go to 20,000 meetings to figure out what you're going to fill out for a form. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. The
Right.
reality is you got life and you got living. So
Yes.
so you started this group yourself and
My
then got
husband
a
and I
community
started it.
going. So what
Yeah.
kind of services do you offer? How does this really get implemented? That's my next question.
So of course, I'm that founder that of the board who wants to save the world by Friday. Unrealistic, but I just always want to help everyone. And where we're starting, our beginning is we're just creating events. We're creating spaces where people feel comfortable coming, finding a community, but also bringing their special need loved one.
Sure.
And I often, like, we went to the movies. My oldest son is typical and he's amazing. He's 23. And the thing that I did with the boys is we'd go to the movies. Something simple. We love the movies in our house. And one time we went to the movies, it was years ago, and someone was not comfortable with Christian, my youngest, and complained to the manager, who proceeded to ask us to leave.
Oh, what a shame.
And so thankfully, I've matured and I've been able to work through some things, because I'm a city girl, right? I'm like, the mama bear is welling up, ready to fight. And I thought about it, I have to teach this young man how to treat the next person, right? And then I have to treat my older son. You can't just hit people in the face when they don't understand and they complain and they have that ignorance about them. And so I gave the manager, I said, let's talk about some choices. I will happily leave. If you insist that we leave, I will happily leave. I just need a list of names, emails, phone numbers, addresses, because I need to consult with an attorney, because this is discrimination.
Right.
However, if that person, but your B plan is, if that person complains again, offer them tickets to come back another time. Because he offered us tickets to come back another time. And I'm like, if you saw my son, you see, he doesn't have a cold. When we come back, he's going to be the same. We were at a kids' movie. We're there during the day, right? But someone wasn't comfortable. And so with the You Belong Fund, that was the very first thing. I'm like, we got to have a movie day. We got to have a day where, no matter, like, if the child is autistic or if the child, gets loud or whatever, it's okay. It's about the experience of coming as a family to an experience together without feeling fear of someone judging or complaining. So we've done that. We did that earlier this year. We kind of, prior to the foundation being founded, we have something called the DuPage Awards, and it's named after my daughter, creating legacy in her name. And we give honor, we celebrate people in the special needs community, people who have a disability doing something amazing with, like, these people are overcoming something every day that we couldn't imagine. And then I could not have raised my kids without different pieces of the pie, the doctors, the paraprofessionals, the teachers, the therapists. So we celebrate people who are boots to the ground every day with a passion for someone with a disability, and help them get through the day, help them figure out life, right? And so that's this year, coming in August, is our 7th year. And so we're excited about that. And then I was looking at the audience every year, and I'm like, this is an audience that they see each other this one day and then they disperse.
Right.
God willing to come back, but what can I do to keep this group going, growing, staying together? And so I started a mom's brunch that I do every month, and it's just moms. And it started with moms of children with disabilities, but I'm like, that's not bringing awareness. So
Right.
this is a strictly moms group. About half of us have kids with disabilities. Some of us have spouses. Some of us have parents that we take care of. Like, the special needs community is not just children.
Right.
It crosses ages and races and fame even, right? It doesn't matter.
Not a
So
respecter of persons. It's all over.
yeah, and that's the problem I feel with society, is that they don't, just being honest, people look and they're kind of glad it's not them.
Right. Right.
But I
Yeah.
have a show, a
Yes.
talk show, where I talk to people with disabilities, and my very first guest has cerebral palsy. And I almost fell off my chair when she said, any one of us can become disabled at any moment. And I was like, man,
Right. The insight of that statement.
yeah, it hits different. It makes you respect the space you're in now, no matter what that space is. So we sponsored families for Thanksgiving last year. You have to have a family member who had someone with a disability in the home, and we treated you to Thanksgiving. Yeah, so we have a lot of other things planned, but right now we are working hard to make the DuPage Awards bigger and better. And that room, if you can come, I'm telling you, you got to come. This is a room filled with love, inclusivity, awareness. it doesn't matter what the disability is. Come and see people who are overcoming things every day. You leave feeling more confident, you walk a little taller, you become more appreciative of the life that you have. So that's right now, that's all I can eat, sleep, and drink is the
Right,
patient.
and that's what you're able to do.
Yeah.
Let's say that somebody's listening today and say, this has really touched me. I don't have an immediate family member with a disability of that nature. Or maybe I had a past experience, maybe not present, but I want to get involved. I know that this is something in our community that we need. How can they help you reach out to you to try to get involved?
On our website, the youbelongfoundation.org is a contact us. And we have people reaching out to us every day. And it's awesome because we not only have people who fit the category of what you just described, we also have people who are the service providers reaching out. And we're building a page of resources. We're not anywhere near, like I needed to be pages and pages, but we're slowly building because you have to vet the people and make sure that they have a service that's
100%.
true to our community. But you can go onto the website and see some of the resources, some of the connections you can make through us to these other people. But just go on and tell us how we always need volunteers. We always need money. Everything with disability attached, unfortunately, is very costly.
And is there an event in the next few months that somebody that says, hey, I want to get you to know you a little more? Can they come out and join you?
Yes, come to the Page Awards. That information is on our website as well. This is our 7th year. It's super exciting and near and dear to our heart because as a family, we put this on in honor of Paige. You learn a little bit more about who Paige was and is, who she means to us today. You get to see, I'm divorced from my kid's dad, but he participates. You get to see other aspects. We're a whole family. This is Paige's family. So dad has a part in it. My husband now, he has a great part in it. Her brother, Christian, is always there. And when people say, I don't know, because my child may be loud, I'm like, if they're louder than my child, Christian, they might have to get an award because that's a feat in and of itself. But yeah, the Page Awards. But then again, we have the Moms Group. The next one is July 12th. That information is on the website as well. You have to be a mom. We have moms of all ages with kids of all ages. We have stepmoms, we have grandmoms. We just come together and talk about mom issues. But then I also make sure we have that piece where we talk about the disabled community because we need to talk about it.
Right.
And then we need to spread that awareness because a lot of times our connection, our support may be that mom who has a typical child and can lend a hand to helping us in our day-to-day. So it's a lot of fun, good food too, but
100%. Well, that's wonderful. And it's such a great community to open up to and just a wonderful thing to bring because again, you can't find it all on your own and having that and developing that resource is quite a challenge that you have taken on, to be frank with you, and something that I think is very needed. So
it's a passion. If it wasn't a passion, there's
right,
no way
then
I
you
can
give
do
it
it.
up, right.
But I enjoy it. I enjoy hearing their stories, which is like I have a talk show called The Wendy Life. And I enjoy talking to people from all walks and just hearing like, how do you get through every day and you're having migraines or you're missing a limb, right? I have a neighbor who I just love. He walks the dog in his wheelchair. And I'm like, like it could be cold. He's out there. And I'm like, you're showing up every day. And I just want you to know that the fact that you can show up in the space that you're in gives me, I have no complaints. I'm blessed and it allows me to show up. So as much as people say I support the community, they are giving me breath every time I'm in their space. My son gives me breath because I'm like, he's happy.
Right.
He's full of joy all the time. And I'm complaining about my hair isn't, acting right.
That's the way it goes sometimes. So people want to get involved. Tell me what you would say to the person who's out there and maybe listening today, and they have the immediate family member disabled. Maybe they have a parent who's, in the other room and they're trying to make the decision about what's the next step and really struggling through that. Maybe there's conflict in the immediate family about what should happen next. How can they reach out and what really should they do? What would be your advice?
First of all, they have to know they're not alone. It's easy when you seclude yourself and you're going through the day-to-day with that loved one. A lot of times it's challenging. It's easy to just stay to yourself like, my cousin, my sister, my family members aren't understanding because I'm in here, I'm living this every day. And I've done all of the things that I'm talking about. So it's not like, I've heard it. This is what I've done. But the more I talk about You know, Christian is 20 and God help me. The diaper I had to change this morning was a nightmare. He's 20. You're not supposed to have to do that. And I can easily go down that rabbit trail of the woe is me, why it happened to me. And I have. But the more you talk to people, fortunately, unfortunately, you're the educator for your person that you're taking care of. So you have to show up for them every day, even when you're tired. But you mentioned respite earlier. A lot of people don't even want to take respite. Like they're not gonna be able to do this. You have to trust someone because you do need that break. You have to take that break. One of my honorees from a few years ago, her platform is dementia and autism, no, dementia and Alzheimer's. And she was saying the statistics of the caregiver passing before the person they care for, because we're not resting, we're not taking care of ourselves. We're not just taking a walk, you know, taking a nap when they nap or whatever it is. You have to take care of yourself. You have to tell your story to someone, even if they don't understand. Most people want to understand.
Right. And having a network of people who have the same or
Yeah.
comparable situations really gives you an opportunity. So
Understand that journey. That journey is the same. Because I was looking for someone who has Dandy Walker, who has a child with Dandy Walker, and most people say, what is that?
right.
And that's frustrating because now I don't feel like I'm connecting to anyone. But if you connect with anyone who takes care of anyone,
There's similarities.
there's similarities there. And eventually I found one or two, but remember my son is 20.
Right.
So if I looked for someone and only wanted to connect with someone with Dandy Walker, I'd be in trouble. There are a lot of us out there. I just don't have immediate proximity to someone with it,
Sure.
right? I lost my daughter. She was 15. No one talks about a child who passes because that makes people uncomfortable. But I talk about Paige. I mean, sometimes you think, like, is she here or is she not? I
Right.
talk about her in the present tense. But I've had friends that I've known for years, like, yeah, I lost a child too. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Right. When did that happen? Right.
When did that happen? Well, I don't talk about it. Why?
Mhm.
Well, because it makes people uncomfortable. That's not your business. If your
Mhm.
child was here, you talk about them.
Right.
Let's have that conversation so we can create that commitment. That's another part of the community.
Sure.
We're not supposed to bury our children. And I happen to belong to a club that I don't wish anyone to be part of. But if we banded together on those crazy days where we see a soda commercial and start crying because it reminds you of your loved one, it's
Right.
okay. But whatever you're feeling, if you're just getting a diagnosis, if you haven't felt comfortable reaching out to someone, everything you're feeling is valid.
Sure.
You can't feel guilty. Everything you're feeling is valid.
So somebody reaches out, they're hearing, they're listening, and they're saying, I think it's time that I reach out. They go to your website first and foremost. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there a phone number that they can call if they're more comfortable?
Not yet, because I need someone to answer that phone.
I understand.
But
But
sending an email is definitely a way to get started. Right now, I am the person in our foundation that talks to people. And I'm looking forward to it growing because I'm coming from my experience.
Right.
There's a whole community of people who have different experiences, different ways of communicating that can reach someone that maybe I can't reach. So
Right.
for now, an email and I'll get in touch with you.
Very good. Well, we look forward to watching the evolution and the growth of your organization and what you can bring together to put together resources for people who aren't alone, but they feel alone.
Yes,
So if they can reach out, that would be the best thing to happen. So
definitely.
thanks for your time today. It's been our pleasure to be able to listen to what you do in the organization and understand some of the items and resources that are available. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you for having me. Any chance I have to talk about this community that's near and dear to my heart, I'm blessed.
Very good. Thank you.
Bye-bye.